So let's switch gears right now. We have something cool. I actually let's talk a little NASCAR, a little old school NASCAR before Lee runs out on us, because we only have him for a few more minutes here.
Sure.
So I found this out via your show, actually. So the original concept of our show was that we'd watch vintage sports brawls and get drunk and make fun of them and crack jokes and all this stuff. And so when I heard you talking about this 1979 NASCAR brawl on your show, I had to look it up, and I had to leave a comment and all that stuff. And so, Mike, you cut some footage up right now. Let's run this footage, and then Lee, if you'd like to educate us on the cultural significance of this, as well as kind of the play-by-play, if you want. It would be an honor to have you kind of do a vintage brawl with us. So it'd be pretty cool.
Sure.
Mike, you have the video that you ripped earlier?
I have it. It's Daytona 500, 1979. Yep. Donnie Allison fights Cale Yarborough, and I cut it, and I can explain what's going on. There's no audio, so I'll just bring up the video, and we'll take a look.
And definitely. Take it away, gentlemen.
So
they're swapping paint. That's what they do, and they knock themselves out of the race right at the end. And they all kind of skidded into the infield about the same area. Yarborough came out of his car. Allison came out of his car. Next thing you know, they were yapping at each other. Next thing you know, they're throwing punches. Next thing you know, pit crews and other drivers are going there trying to stop this fight. And the real background story on this, guys, this was the first NASCAR race ever that was televised nationally. And it was televised. It was in, I guess, January. Mike, you might correct the date, but it was televised while there was a blizzard in the Northeast. So everybody is stranded at home, and they saw this, and people started getting addicted, because up until that point, NASCAR was a good old boy network thing in the Deep South. They weren't running at Watkins Glen, and they weren't running in California. They weren't running at Texas Speedway or Indianapolis. It was all the small and big tracks. And this thing shows up on TV, and it's must-see because of the brawl, and suddenly people are excited, and they've decided, hey, I think I'll watch the next weekend's NASCAR race, and that's how the sport took off. It was historically, the first great TV game in the NFL, you'll remember this, New York Giants, Baltimore Colts, 1958, championship game. I was a kid. I was a young kid. I saw that.
That was his helmet? Oh, my God. Sorry to catch you.
Yeah,
there's his helmet at him. That was amazing. I'm sorry.
I hit him with a helmet because he didn't have a monkey wrench in the car that he could pull out to use.
Yeah, fair enough.
Pretty much. And Richard Petty ended up winning the race because these guys, I don't know what they were placing, but it looked like they were going to finish and they were fighting to win. And Richard Petty ended up winning the race. Do you know if that impacted how Richard Petty won? Was that why he won? Because these two guys skidded out?
I think he was probably racing for third. These guys wiped themselves out going to the last lap. Petty winds up finishing. So I mean, it's fascinating. But as I said, the New York Giants, Baltimore Colts, 1958 championship game. That was the first game on network TV in the NFL, and everybody says that's where fans got addicted to the NFL on television because of the Baltimore Colts Giants game. I think it was at Yankee Stadium on a Sunday in the championship game, and people got addicted to this after they saw what Yarborough and Allison did, and everybody got involved. So. Fascinating how the thing took off.
Little history right here. Yeah, and this is Week Drive. I'm looking up this old stuff because it's amazing. A lot of the stuff we watch is for fun and we crack jokes. But to see this, how it brought NASCAR and the Daytona 500 to the forefront and how popular it is now, it's impressive. We covered a fight where they used to have two, I forget the hockey players, but they were in the same penalty box. They started beating each other up in the penalty box, and that's why they have separate penalty box. So it's interesting to come across brawls that have significance in changing the sport forever.
Well, I broke in. My first broadcasting job was broadcasting minor league hockey back east, Eastern Hockey League, Comac Arena, and all that stuff. And that was the era of the Broad Street Bullies and the brawls. And in the lower minor leagues, it was commonplace. It was unbelievable. And I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Slapshot. 90% of Slapshot is true. And I was there because I was in that league. That was in 1975. And the point of the movie Slapshot were the brothers, the Hanson brothers, their real names were the Carlson brothers of the Johnstown Jets, went over the glass into the stands. That was in our building in Utica, New York, against
Were
the
you,
Marshals.
were you doing the play-by-play for that?
Yes.
Oh,
one-
that's
Oh, that's
You know,
amazing.
Carlson-
I love that.
One of the Carlsons scored a goal, and they were just a bunch of goons. And as they're skating off the ice, somebody from behind the bench threw ice cubes at them. And I'm writing on my score sheet. I'm halfway up the stands. I'm writing on my score sheet, Johnstown goal at 8:51, Jack Carlson slap shot. And I look up, and here comes the entire Johnstown team over the glass, swinging their sticks. The fans grab, they're swinging them back at the players, and virtually everything in that movie is true. They were arrested in the dressing room.
Oh, wow.
In their uniform, marched out of the Utica Memorial Auditorium across the street to the police station, which is right across from the Aud. And
That's
they
funny.
got charged with simple assault, and it was, it's history, and it's true.
Oh man,
We got to
must have
cover
been
that,
exciting.
Bill.
Yeah,
We'll
is there
look into
is there
that.
footage of that anywhere, or is that like too low of a league for there to be cameras in the building? I mean, was
Yeah, it was
that
probably too early in the minor leagues, but there's some still photos around. I'm sure if you
okay?
if you just Google
News stories,
Johnstown
yeah.
Jet Brawls,
All right.
you'll find a whole bunch of things.
We will look that up. We also did a brawl. Remember, Mike? We did the brawl where the Bruins crawled in the stands and started fighting fans in I think
And the
it was
Rangers,
NBC.
1979 at the
Yeah.
Garden. They crawled
Something
into
about
the stands.
79, man.
Yeah.
People wanted to brawl.
And
I
go
don't
into
know
the
what was
stands.
going on,
O'Reilly.
man.
Terry O'Reilly was probably on that team. He was probably the first guy over the glass.
Yeah.